And he's like very gregarious and nice, and goes, well, what are you doing? Point out a few things and tell me about what we can talk about. So I point out a few things. I'm doing this and doing that. And when the lights come on, and he says, hey, Mark, what about this? And he walks right over that stupid painting that he didn't point out at all and say, wow, what's going on here? Oh, I just wanted to...
But you couldn't because the camera was rolling.
I did, and I didn't want to have that 1 second where I was angry, the next second where I was sorry. So I just grit my teeth, and I basically was the most boring interview. I think I said something like, well, you know, when I do a piece, I like people to look at it and make up their own minds. Right. I had enough wherewithal at that moment of intense anxiety to say something, you know, and they just said something like, wow, that's really something. I don't even remember it. I think I made up a word, created a word to describe whatever it was. I have no idea, but I didn't want to get into it. And apparently the people that obviously saw it, I guess. They weren't upset over it. But the thing went on, and well, the funny thing was, well, I had penises. He could have did the penis. He could have had the penis thing.
That probably made him uncomfortable. Swastikas didn't.
That's
I think it says more about him than about you.
Yeah.
Huh.
Well, I did have somebody say I did too many penises. Oh, and then I had this, because they gave me this giant room. I'm like, oh, how am I going to fill this room? I mean, it was like 24 feet long by 12 or 14 feet wide, and I had to fill it all up. So I thought I needed, so one night, I'm out in my driveway. The neighbors probably thought I was crazy. I had 2 4x8 pieces of plywood together, and I'm painting them, because I can't put them up in the house. They're in the driveway. Fortunately, it was summer, and I'm just painting this thing on it. And I put them together, and I put the plywood on the floor in the middle of the road. Well, people were drinking, and they would come out of the restroom, which was in the corner, and they would walk across the artwork. And I sat there, and I waited for them to do that, because I didn't care. There's no way you could hurt it, and I was going to chop it up anyway. But they would come out, and they would be halfway in the middle of it, and I would go, oh! And they would look at me, and they would go, oh, my God! And so that was fun. That was my little enjoyment for the evening.
What if you put a little mat with just some diluted paint there that they walked over, so when they walked on the piece, it would actually make footprints?
Well, see, now you're looking at it, and you were telling me about that. All the artists now do this interactivity. And that would have been, see, that was my bit of interactivity, but nobody knew it.
And you were telling me that an artist never wants to hear, you know, what you should have done or what you could have done.
No artist wants you to say your work looks like.
Yeah.
Even if it looks like it, you don't want to hear it.
Yeah.
You don't want to hear it. You just want somebody to, and you don't even want somebody to say, well, that's good, or I like that, because that means nothing.
What do you want?
Well, you want to hear somebody relate a personal experience or see something in it, like, even if it's so stupid, like, I like how you scribbled the red or something. I mean, just to say I like it means that you don't really give a shit. You know, you may, but it doesn't sink in. You want to, when you look at a piece of artwork, you want to pick something out and say, like, you know, I have furniture that color, I can hang it over. How much is it?
Oh, but wait. Good art doesn't match your sofa.
But it does. I'm not against good art matching.
I didn't write the T-shirt. I'm just quoting it.
Most good interior designers will take the piece of art and create the room around it. But personally, I'm not opposed to somebody finding a piece of my artwork that goes with their couch and paying me money to hang it over their couch. I think that's a good thing.
But wouldn't you rather somebody buy the piece and say, that color red made me laugh and cry at the same time? I was so moved. I had to have it, and that's why I'm going to pay you double for it.
You know,
you're undervaluing your work.
It's windy out here, and I bet half of this is not even going to work. Because this camera is so sensitive to that stupid wind.
Well, your background noise is like, it's natural, and I don't think you even hear it anymore, but it's cacophonous.
Oh, well, the wind that goes across the microphone. This needs to be closer. It needs to be up here like this. Now maybe people can hear us.
Why don't we have your other mic?
What other mic?
Canon.
Because it's HD. I tell you, I bought the camera and I don't use it anymore because it's...
But the audio quality is always about audio quality, you know?
It is. So this is going to be like, you're going to be saying something and you're going to hear this. So say something. See? Now you can't hear that because of the wind.
Closer.
Well, you can see that. You can see that.
Yeah, but you should aim it on you because you have the sunglasses.
Well, you can see my eyeball over there. Right. See, my eyeball's right there.
Right.
Well,
eyeball's right here, and yours is...
I wear sunglasses so people don't really know who I am.
They might figure it out, though, if they see you with me.
They don't even know you're my brother. You could be just the fake neighbor that came over, and you're just pretending.
Don't we still look alike? We used to look alike.
Nobody ever says that, do they? People only say that to make you feel good.
No, they said, like, they'd see us with Dad, and it would, like, they'd laugh.
They would?
Well, you're not related, are you?
They said that?
Yeah. And Mom always said, well, I think Jeff looks more like me.
Well, she
But then
would
everyone
do that.
else would say, no, you look
No,
like
I looked more like Mom than you did. You look more like Dad.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, I had the forehead. Dad had...
Well,
Did Dad
you
have
had
the forehead?
Well, the blue and the green eyes. That's one thing.
Right.
I'm 6'2". You're taller than me. You're as tall as, almost as tall as Dad.
Yeah, I didn't quite. And Dad was not as tall as his younger brother.
Dale was taller than Dad? I don't remember that.
He's like 6'5" or something. He was
Really?
huge, yeah.
Oh. I don't remember that.
Well, you don't remember him, do you?
Only the briefest, like, shady, kind of misty. I just remember he was in the house and they weren't too happy that he was there. That's all. And I don't know why. They must have yelled at him and he left.
Well, I know.
Do you think he was freeloading?
Yeah. He came, Mom was pregnant with me, and he was, like, just hanging out at the house because he had nothing else to do, back from, I don't know, New York or something,
Yeah.
where he'd been living.
He was trying to be a failed writer. Yeah.
You know, even when I saw him late in life, he had this idea for articles in magazines, and he didn't want to tell me because I might take the idea. He says, well,
really?
I'll tell you. It's about going to different cities, and mind you, he was a hermit. You know, he probably never left Indianapolis as soon as he got there.
Right.
I want to go from city to city and write about it, each city, you know, on a tour, so it's the same voice in all these cities, seeing different places from the same perspective.
And that was an
no one
idea that
else
he was afraid that you were
thought
going to
of.
steal from him.
Yeah.
And nobody else had. Did he ever watch Rick Steves on PBS?
I'll bet he didn't have a television, but
he
I don't
didn't,
know.
yeah.
He read voraciously,
Yeah.
and he could quote the Bible chapter and verse.
Oh, could he really?
I found out
I
later.
had no
Yeah,
idea.
I was talking to somebody who knew him. I mean, the funny thing about this is that, you know, our father and his brother never saw one another. Practically
Not
their
after that.
whole adult lives.
Yes, right. That's true.
Except for a couple of times.
That's true.
Same with our mother and her sister. Except when her sister came to visit her.
Yeah. Well, that was in Dallas, but no, they had bad blood. Though the story was always like, Dad used to make me and my. Or I don't know if he made them fight, but when they would fight, he used to laugh about it or something. He like supported the fight. You know, it's supposed to be really hot today, but it feels like there's a front moving through. This is nice.
Yeah.
I wish the wind wasn't blowing though. People are gonna have to watch this video and like try to understand it because I'm just gonna post it because. So yeah, but they didn't like each other.
Yeah.
They didn't like each other.
Curious thing, families.
Well,
Not that we see each other that often.
Well, no, because I don't really like you. But you know that.
Well, and you don't like travel.
Well, I can't go to San Francisco because I can't carry a gun there.
Well, why can't you?
Well, because California,
you couldn't
they
take
don't.
it with you on the plane. Or
I
you'd
could
have to-
I could take it to the airport and then I could stay in that little room that they put you in at the airport and then probably because I don't even know you could put it in your baggage anymore without claiming it somehow. But then I would go to San Francisco and I would get in. Well, no, not like your carry-on. I mean, I'm pretty much an idiot, but I'm not that stupid.
You'd be surprised how many people are carrying guns in San Francisco.
But they don't have reciprocal. They don't have
Legally or illegally. I don't
Well,
know.
no.
People have them in their
I could-
homes, and
yes.
they are legal.
Yes,
And people
yes.
are carrying them on the street, legally and illegally.
Yes.
All the time.
That's
I
what
see
always-
them all the time. I
that
hear
will-
them all the time.
Yes.
And sometimes we see bullet wounds. That's happening all the time. So
Yes.
you might feel
Well,
right
my
at
friend
home.
John had a 9mm slug come through his bedroom window the day before he decided to put his house on the market.
Yeah.
And
Even
that's
here,
bad.
huh?
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, it
Yeah.
depends on where you're at. Oh,
And
that's
Nat, who
another good
started the
story.
garden, had a slug come through, a couple of them through her window where the baby was sleeping, her great grandbaby.
Yeah, well, they were worried about their kid, of course. You know, well, they found hypodermic needles in their front lawn. You know, discarded.
Condoms?
Probably not.
That
There's
usually comes with
pretty,
it. And
pretty,
those
pretty
little
risky.
plastic bags, Ziploc plastic bags, the tiny ones?
Oh, I was helping them work on the fence, and I found some. I think somebody got scared and threw their drugs over the fence, and I found them on the ground.
Well, the runners will put them somewhere so they don't get caught with it.
Oh.
And then when there's a deal, they'll go get it.
Well, I don't know anything. See, I live out in the country, so mostly we just are interested in